Mr. Onder.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I couldn't agree more with President Trump that we need to restore the integrity of our census, and that begins with refusing to count illegal aliens in our census. For too long, sanctuary states have openly defied federal laws and been rewarded with more political power, more congressional seats, and more influence. This is unacceptable, and it's undermining the very foundation of equal representation. Meanwhile, states like Missouri, that I represent, that follow and respect the law, have a diluted voice in Washington. And not because we have done anything wrong, but because other states have chosen to disregard federal immigration law, and they benefit politically by doing so. Mr. Rodriguez, doesn't this mean that sanctuary policies, if we count illegal aliens in the census, have the effect of giving Democrats an unfair advantage in Congress, in the Electoral College, and in federal funding?
To some extent. I don't think it's entirely partisan, though. There are red states like Texas, which also have disproportionate levels of illegal aliens in their state, and they also benefit. But
right.
For sure, California has been the state that has benefited most from this policy.
Yeah, but Texas does not have a sanctuary state policy, of course.
Of course.
So if illegal immigrants are excluded from apportionment accounts, wouldn't we see some shift in political power back to states that follow the law?
Yes.
Yeah. And because census results also determine how literally trillions of dollars of federal dollars are distributed, are my constituents in Missouri subsidizing sanctuary states with large illegal alien populations?
They likely are. And it's important to note that under federal law, the Personal Responsibility and Work Organization Reconciliation Act of 1996 prohibits illegal aliens from receiving federal benefits. So calculations for federal benefit purposes that are based on illegal alien populations are wrong under the law.
Right. And so again, we know that looking back on the 2020 census, it is clear the Census Bureau has admitted that there were errors in states, in the counting of states, and 5 of the 6 states that were undercounted were red states, and 7 of the 8 states that were overcounted were blue or swing states. Mr. Miller, can you explain how these inaccuracies in the 2020 census occurred, and what can be done differently in the 2030 census?
So the census, the Census Bureau would argue that these were difficulties that they encountered due to COVID, and that was kind of a historical, unprecedented event that occurred during a census, at least in modern times that I'm aware of. I think that's...
excuse me if I interrupt. It seems like everything is blamed on COVID.
Right.
Supply chains are blamed on COVID, lack of educational attainment, COVID, workforce, COVID. What specifically, how did fighting this virus lead to these inaccuracies?
Well, that's why it just doesn't make much sense to me, because the states that were undercounted were generally more open.
Were people wearing gloves and masks and not able to count properly? I don't know.
Yeah, and the states that were overcounted were the ones that were locked down and closed more so than... So I just don't understand the whole COVID logic. I'll take them at their word, but it's certainly a strange outcome.
Yeah, maybe everyone at the Census Bureau working from home and not actually out counting persons. Do we really know the full extent, Mr. Miller, of the 2020 census's inaccuracies? I mean, if they admit to this,
No, they have admitted to major miscounts. We do not know the extent to which differential privacy has had an impact, because the Tiger file that all of this exists at the Census Bureau is top secret. Only a few people have access to it. And this is an oversight problem that we really need to get some data statisticians in there to really analyze, with clearance, to analyze the impacts. Because whether it's urban to rural or rural to urban, there has been a lot of population movement, and I've seen studies arguing both sides of this. But there are big problems with this on a variety of fronts.
And again, remind us of what's the alternative to the differential privacy scheme?
Well, there can be a lot of these. IPMS has a really good analysis on how to address this. Past practices have used swapping, limited swapping.
Right.
I think one solution is just turn off characteristic data until you get to a statistically significant level
Where you
numerical data available, but turn off all the characteristic data until you're up at like the census tract or county level. And that way, it's really hard to reverse engineer the algorithm with population numbers that strong.
Makes perfect sense. Thank you so much. I yield back.
I thank the gentleman.